All right, this is going to be a video about investing, no matter what age you are, and how you should invest, how aggressive. This is obviously not solid financial advice. It is financial advice, but not professional financial advice. Um, but I just like finances and I like money and I like talking about money. So, yeah, listen to me yacht for a little while if you want to learn a little bit about investing and kind of my journey with it as well. So let's start with that. I started investing, I believe it was when I turned 19, was when I first invested, or a little bit before I turned 19, somewhere around there. And I wish I would have started way earlier. But the reason I hadn't started earlier is because my parents never taught me about it. They were kind of scared of it. They didn't really do it. They had like a 401k or whatever, but not investing like most people know now. So, well, I at least hope most people know about it now. But I hadn't started as soon as I would have wanted to, obviously, now knowing how good investing is. But still very grateful to have started so early. So when I started, I opened a account with Charles Schwab, which was what my dad had just started using because my dad started investing at the same time as me, basically. And yeah, so opened Charles Schwab and pretty much just invested in the S&P 500, as well as I think I got into some individual stocks pretty early on. And that was, I mean, it's only been 2 years. I don't have a whole lot to talk about, but I've been investing consistently ever since. Usually about once a month, because I get paid once a month. I should dollar cost average into the stuff I'm invested in, but I just dump a large chunk of money into a bunch of my things every month, which is better than obviously nothing. So, yeah, I've been doing that for 2 years now, and now have a very nice amount of money in investments. So let's kind of talk about some different things. So for someone my age, I'm 21, and someone my age, if not younger or even just a little older, whatever, I think should be doing investing or investing more aggressively than even I am. I am not really investing aggressively. I am afraid to lose my money. So I just kind of throw everything in safe stocks, like, or safe things like the S&P 500, and safer larger stocks like individual stocks and mutual funds and ETFs. I am not very risky. I have a little bit in crypto, but not as much as I should. So invest more aggressively than me, but I'm just kind of scared. So if you're around my age, though, I would definitely. It's hard to recommend doing it when I don't do it, but from what I've heard from very professional investors and people who are actually smarter than me, is you should invest very aggressively when you can, when you're young and it doesn't matter as much. So, um, if I were to go back, or if I were to kind of reframe my mindset right now, it would be invest more into crypto, probably a larger percentage of my portfolio into crypto, maybe some more individual stocks. But I don't know, the S&P 500 has performed so well the last few years that it hasn't really mattered to me. So, but yeah, anyways, if you're not my age, I would probably invest how I'm doing it right now. So, there's a bunch of different things you can do to invest, obviously, but Roth IRA is, a very safe hedge. However, a Roth IRA is something that I've stopped investing in because I want to actually be able to see my money before I'm 65. So, like a Roth IRA, when you invest in it, you can't touch it until you're that old. And that's just like, what? I don't want to do that. I have a decent amount in my Roth IRA because I did it for like, I maxed it out for like 2 or 3 years. But I just like I'm not even gonna be able to use that money for like a long time unless I want it to like get taxed or whatever when I take it out. I think is what happens when you take it out early. but I've stopped investing in that, and now I just put everything that I would have put into that in the S&P 500 and, my individual. Basically, what I invest in, right, is I have 5 to 10 individual stocks. I use Webull, the platform Webull, um, to do individual stock investing just because I like the interface of that app a lot. And I think it's easier to do individual stocks on that app. And then I use Charles Schwab to invest in the S&P 500, any like larger things like mutual funds, ETF, stuff like that. International ETFs. There's like, I don't know, I have a bunch of different things. But that's what I use for the larger type things. That's where I have most of my money at because that's just what is safer. And then I have the Roth IRA and and crypto. So in crypto, I have like, I don't know, like 0.5% of my portfolio in crypto, like a very small amount of my portfolio in crypto, and it's not even invested smartly. I just kind of threw it into random stuff, but um, I do want to do that more. I think crypto is just fairly risky, obviously. Um, I'm just kind of scared of that, but if you're older, right? And a lot of people watching this video are probably older because you're like, okay, this young guy is like investing. Maybe I should start or something like that. Because that's kind of how my parents looked at it is, and other people that I've talked to about investing is like they just didn't even know what to think about it, or they didn't do their research, or they didn't like after this video, if you haven't researched investing and like what you should actually do, then go do it because don't just take my advice for it. But um like when I talked to my parents, they were like actually scared of it because they just didn't ever look into it. Like they just never did their research. So and they could have made a lot more money if they would have invested it. Like it's just simple as that. Like if you invest money, you're pretty much bound to increase the amount of money you have, especially beating inflation and all that. So, um, yeah, I think if you're a little bit older, you should immediately start investing. Obviously, do your due diligence of research, but immediately start investing. Get that in there. The sooner the better, because the next thing we're going to talk about is compound interest, and that is huge. So, I'm going to pull up, actually, since I'm on my laptop, I can do this. Okay, so this is like just a little image I found on Google, but like this is compound interest. This is starting from nothing. You have $0 and you're investing a little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit, like over time. This is over what, like probably 20 years or something. Um, and it just, the more you have invested, the larger the curve, like the steeper the curve of how much your money's going to go up. So the reason for that is because when you have when you compound interest means when you get interest from your investments. So whenever you like are getting money from your investments, like it's just the value of it is going up, whatever. It is reinvested, and you're just compounding that interest over and over again. And it's just so like if I had $1,000 invested and it made $100, 10% over a year, then the next year I have $1,100 and I get 10% of that. Like it's just gonna keep going up. So the graph is very interesting because you can see as soon as you get to like $100,000 or so, it starts going up a lot more steep. Like this is like if you followed this line right here, it'd be like here. But as soon as you get to around the 100K mark, which is like right here, look at how much more curved that is. So, anyways, it's a very interesting thing. Basically, the takeaway from that is that you should try and get to $100,000 invested as soon as possible. That's like always the goal. From what I learned from the start is like you just need to try and get to $100,000 as fast as possible. Obviously, you want to get more than that, but like that number is really the point where it starts to go up like that. So, anyways, that's kind of every like thing basic that I've learned about investing and like why you should be investing. Because if you don't, it's your money's sitting there and losing value. At least have it in a high yield savings account of some sort. But even then, that's not like you should have your emergency fund in a high yield savings account, or if you're actually saving for a house or like a car, that should be in a high yield savings account. But besides for that, the money that you just have should be invested. So, yeah, do your own research, but I just wanted to come in and talk about investing.